If you want women to start approaching you for a change, then
activate the Clock of Omens to tap 2 artifacts to untap an artifact. This then triggers the Magda when a dwarf gets tapped to then create an untapped treasure token. You can then use the Clock of Omens ability again to tap 2 artifacts to then untap an artifact to then create another treasure token. You can see how this is an infinite loop that creates an infinite amount of tapped treasures. Once you have 5 or more treasures, you can then activate Magda's last ability to search your library for an artifact or a dragon card. You will then tutor for a roaming throne. Roaming throne will enter naming dwarf, which will make it so all your dwarfs trigger twice. This will make it so the Clock of Omens and Universal Automaton loop will create an infinite amount of tapped and untapped treasures. So you have an infinite amount of treasures to sack as well as an infinite amount of mana. You now have the basis for your combo to then tutor for a Bark Form Harvester, which has an activated ability to put target card from a graveyard at the bottom of your library. You'll then be able to assemble a draw loop, allowing you to draw out your deck because you will tutor for a One Ring, which you can tap to draw a card, and then also a Sculpting Steel, which will enter as a copy of the One Ring, but then put the One Ring into the graveyard thanks to the legend rule. What you will then do is tap the Sculpting Steel to draw a card, but then put the Bark Form Harvester activation on the stack to then resolve to put the One Ring back into the deck. This allows you to tutor up with Magda again, putting it onto the field, putting the Sculpting Steel into the graveyard, and activate to draw a card. This will allow you to draw out your deck, as I mentioned, and then allow you to win with the infinite mana that you originally created by casting Lightning Bolts to then put that into the graveyard and then grab that back with Bark Form Harvester to cast over and over again after drawing again with your draw loop. Now, if your opponent at some point in the middle of this combo has a Rule of Law effect out, what you can also do is go off with Twin Shot Snipers, which you can pay 2 to discard and deal 2 damage to any target. Because this is a channel ability, aka discarding a card and not casting, you'll be able to get around that Rule of Law and win the game.